Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really used your imagination? Like, not just solving a problem or getting through your to-do list, but actually imagined something. Because in this episode, I sit down with Peter Donello, also known as the Imaginatist. And wow, this conversation took me somewhere. We talk about how imagination isn't just for kids. It's actually the foundation of creativity, innovation, and connection. Peter shares simple, powerful ways to strengthen your imagination through things like storytelling, visualization, and even daydreaming. And we get into something fascinating. What if you can't visualize? Yeah, we talk about that too. We also explore how AI fits into all of this, not as a replacement, but as a partner to your creativity. And maybe my favorite part, how reconnecting with that 5-year-old version of you might be the key to believing in the impossible again. And if you've been feeling a little stuck, a little too practical, this episode might just bring your imagination back to life. Let's go. All right, here we are back at the Spark Connect. And today's a special day because I've got somebody here today that I just can't wait for all of you to meet. I've only just met Peter myself, and he is an Imaginatist. And we are going to we're going to imagine what that might be all about. And so without further ado, Peter, please tell us who you are, what you do, and how you became the Imaginatist.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kassy. Like she said, my name is Peter Donello, and I am the Imaginatist. What that means is that basically I work with people, individuals, groups, corporations, on reconnecting and strengthening the imagination. In a business setting, that would be to help with enhancing creativity or innovation. Just for general people and for the public, it's just to add color and magic to their lives. I've spent the past 48 years igniting people's imagination as a professional magician. And during that time, I have experienced something that was life-changing to me, and I think can be life-changing to a lot of people. When I've had the chance to perform for groups or for individuals, many times when you create a magical effect, a light comes on in their eyes. And for an instant, you connect with that 5-year-old that was inside them that remembers anything in the world is possible. And that feeling, that connection is what I try to help people reconnect with and to develop and to strengthen.
Man, we got another magician on the show, but this one focusing on imagination. Y'all are my favorite. I got to tell you, there's something
I
about,
appreciate that. Yes.
yeah, just the sparkles and the magic. And like you said, that 5-year-old and that, that sense of wonder and believing in the world again, you know? So what do you
Exactly.
do for work? I mean, I know this is your work, but okay, I'm going to be honest. How do
Well,
we become Imaginatists? How did you get here? Because it's
I
not what
was
you've always done,
basically,
right?
I've been a performer for a very, very long time. I actually worked my way through college as a disco DJ and a restaurant magician. I was a musical theater major in college.
Oh, it's all
So
coming
I've always been
together.
a performer. Yep.
Got it.
And I worked my way through college, making my living in restaurants, doing magic from table to table to table, private parties and corporate events as well. And then later on, I added DJing to that. But the magic has stuck with me for all these years. And actually, once I graduated, I'd been doing it for such a long time. I said, let's just keep doing this. And it's how I made my living for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh, being a DJ and a magician, but you also work in corporate HR.
Well, not in corporate HR. I have worked in the restaurant and the hospitality industry outside of my performing area.
Okay.
So I was like front of house manager at some restaurants. I trained people, but that's as close as I got to corporate HR.
Okay.
But the hospitality, the reason I got into that is because I've been a restaurant magician for such a long time. But it always went back to where I wanted to be as a performer. And then a few years ago, I realized that I could motivate people using the magic as illustrations. So I started speaking to like Rotary clubs and Elks Lodges and stuff like that, and started doing that as a sideline. And then a couple of years ago, I decided this is something I'd like to do more often and more of a full time. So I became a keynote speaker, working with the National Speakers Association and the Meeting Professionals International to bring my message to corporations, to organizations, to fraternal orders, to whomever would like to hear it, actually.
Exactly. And what's the response been when you brought your messages to these audiences? Like, how does it go?
It's one of the most engaging, I've been told, it's one of the most engaging presentations that people get a chance to involve themselves with, because there's a great deal of audience participation, because that's how you connect with your imagination, is you have to start to use it a little bit. So I created techniques and illustrations that I use in my presentation that bring the audience in and help them join in on it, so that they can feel and they can connect with that inner child again.
Oh man, what might be like, let's say that we had the honor of being in the audience at your next keynote engagement. What kind of
Certainly.
things might we expect, or what might be one of the first things that we could expect would happen?
One of
Without
the
giving
things
away
that I
too
like to
many of your
do,
secrets, by the way, just
not at
give us
all.
a taste.
No, no.
Yeah.
Again, the magic routines are actually just illustrations for techniques that I actually try to introduce people to and teach them about. There are actual techniques that you can use to help strengthen and develop your imagination. The first one I talk about, and one of the most powerful, is reading. Reading can absolutely set your imagination free. Now, I'm not talking about poring over technical manuals, going over last week's spreadsheets. I'm talking about reading stories, stories with images and imagery, because imagery is the fuel that feeds your imagination. It sparks curiosity. It helps the brain start to build and develop pictures inside the mind. And reading with visualization is one of the greatest and the easiest exercises that people can do to help strengthen their imagination.
That is really ringing true for me. I just facilitated a class this morning where it's the first of many sessions that will be together. And so it's about getting to know them and stretching, making the space safe because the vulnerable things I'll be asking them to do. And what I'd love to do is bring in some images. I call it the image connect. And then I have a question rather than what do you do? The question is, which of these images best represents how you're doing today or what you do in your role or where you're at today. And I have all these different types of things that range from like flowers to space to the beach to animals to food, various things. They're all over the place and it's meant to be that. And it's very interesting because a lot of people, they'll be like, I don't think I can answer that. But then they go, wait a second, I have an idea, and the next thing you know, they're like, I'm the pandas because I feel like I want to chill today and it's Monday morning, the creativity and the imagination that comes from that when you let people do things sort of differently or unexpectedly and paint their own
Absolutely.
picture, if you will. I love that.
Yeah. Teaching people visualization and letting them start to work on visualization is like priming the pump to your imagination. And once you prime the pump, things start to flow out much more easily, at least for most people. Now, there's a certain percentage of the population that have a difficult time visualizing. It's just that their brain is wired slightly differently. About 2 to 3% of the population is what they call aphantasic. They don't have the the ability to visualize. They learn in different fashions. One of the things that I've been working on in my presentation is to find different techniques that help them create more imagination without using visualization. It is a challenge because visualization is such a rich part of the imagination. And for, like I said, 97% of the people, it is something that they use, or that they learn to use quite easily. And so much fun.
What's the term again? These people are unable to visualize?
Aphantasic.
A
The
fantasy?
term fantasia is the Greek and the Latin name for imagination, or for visualization, technically. And people can be hyperphantasic, like, say, Robin Williams, just can't turn it off, or hypophantasic, which they have very little visualization, but a few are completely aphantasic. They do not see, in other words, if I gave them a piece of paper and told them, draw an image of your house. They couldn't do it.
Interesting.
Most people can do it through some, either roughly or with great detail from their memory. For aphantasics, that's not a they have to learn, and they imagine through different avenues, tactile, audio, things like that,
I was just
through
going to
rote
ask you
memory.
if visualization is one way for us to be more imaginative, what then are some of the others? And you mentioned just two others there. Maybe there's
Yes,
more.
tactile, touch, or the physical sense of touching, feeling different surfaces brings different emotions and brings different image. Well, I shouldn't say the word image, but brings different emotions. Also, sound. People who are not very visualized are very auditorial sensitive. They're very much into music. Music is what they use to connect to their emotions, which is wonderful for me because music is a huge part of my life too.
Of course, as a DJ, it would be, wouldn't it? What's your take on all these AI apps that are creating music or broadening everybody's ability to create music?
It is it's scary amazing. I first saw this a couple of years ago at a conference I was at, and one of the persons who was another speaker there was a futurist, and he was talking about uh, how AI was making music, and we put together a song right there on the fly using terms or concepts that we just threw out from the audience,
Yeah,
lines that we threw out. He put it into his computer, told he wanted to do like a pop genre, then he wanted to do a country genre, and boom, there it was.
it's amazing.
It's almost scary.
It is a little, yeah. I know, and I keep wondering. I love it personally. I use it a lot with my clients. I view it along the lines of karaoke because I am not a person who can create this music. I'm karaokeing it, if you will.
I like that. That's a cool analogy.
Yeah, but I'm very aware of the original artists who create such things, and I have so much respect for that. And so I just,
Mhm.
those lines are so blurred. And I always like to ask people who create music. I mean, like as a DJ, you curate music, right? Like for the people that are
Exactly. I
creating.
program it rather than write it, but because I had to study music theater and I was vocal performance because I was a music theater major. I did know how I knew how to read music. I knew how to play musical instruments. I had to learn to play lots of musical instruments.
Yeah,
And so the thought of creating your own music is not something that is foreign to me. It is something that I enjoy. I haven't done it for a long time.
yeah.
And I don't really know. I guess the jury's still out as to whether AI is actually going to, it'll never replace, but if it's going to compete with original music.
Well, and then our ability to tell the difference is the thing, isn't it? It just starts to blur
Yeah.
those
And
lines.
I have a funny feeling that's going to become more and more difficult.
It already is. It already is, and
Yeah.
I can tell you I've been experimenting a lot with it. One of my favorite ways that I've been using the music generating AI tools is, when I'm launching a program when I first meet a group of people. I usually will get their roster of names, and so I'll put into the request, each person's name, what we're learning, and what their organization is about, and we create a custom song for that, and they love it, and it's like, I haven't even met them yet on day 1, and I send out the song of like, "I can't wait to meet you, not mute you. I can't wait to meet you, and here's something I made for you in anticipation." And what it does is it just starts to break the ice, if you will, before the
It
doors are even
connects you. It's
open.
a huge connection. It's also a great calling card.
It's great. And they
Yeah.
love it, and it becomes like, yeah, it becomes like our theme song together, and especially when we can move through the program and create more together. So I'd love that
Hmm.
we can create together, but I still hold this respect for those that were creating it long before those tools came along, you know? Um, and so I don't ever wanna diminish any of that.
And I think AI is a huge supplement. It's a great tool as long as you remember that it is just a tool. I use it very sparingly. I'm not particularly AI. I don't know, legitimate, or I don't know understand it very well. I've got several speaking friends who speak on it, and I suppose I should sit down and have lunch with them and learn how to use it because I know it's beautiful for CRMs and stuff like that, and I should use it for that. I've also, because of what you just said, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if AI could help me create custom routines for a particular audience or a particular group or
Well, I'll just tell you right
category
now
that I
that
might be
the
speaking to.
answer to that is yes, Peter, it can help you do that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the trick
like
will
you,
be keeping it within the guidelines or the prompts or, the frameworks that
mhm.
align with who you are and what kind of outcome you want by getting very specific with it, because it's like you said, it's a partner and it's a tool to help us think differently or take it in different directions, if you will.
Yeah, at the point right now, to me, my AI is basically a glorified thesaurus. And I know it could do so much more. I don't know if I'm scared or I'm lazy or a little combination of both.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know what? A lot of people feel that way, and that's a sort of a vulnerable thing to admit out loud, but a true thing for many people. I
Yeah.
actually, in fact, woke up this morning thinking, I don't know what I'm talking about any of this newfangled technology that's existing in our lives today. And then I pushed that down, got to work, and today I created some new stuff I didn't even expect I was going to be creating because I got kind of frustrated with myself feeling that way. And so I was like,
Now
wait,
my question
stop
to
it.
you would be this: was it the programs or the software you were using that created those things, or was it your imagination?
You know what? I think it was my imagination.
I think
Absolutely.
so too.
Yeah.
That's the area that, and I think that is one of the, let's call it an occupational hazard that I have doing what I do, is that I am far more organic in creativity than I am technical in creativity.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from the technical, it helps. It's a huge time saver. But one of the great things that I do every day, well, every day I can, is I will go down to a local park close to where I live, where there's a big playground. I'll go down, sit on a bench, take a cigar. I smoke cigars. I'll sit and smoke a cigar and I will watch the children play. And it just reminds me of how unlimited your imagination can be.
Yeah.
And I will just sit there and daydream. And guess what? Daydream is one of those other tools and techniques like reading that help you develop your imagination. Daydreaming is like letting your mind out the backyard and letting it wander anywhere it wants.
Yeah. We get so much noise as we grow up, and so watching children, you made me think
Watching
about
them play, letting your mind wander is a huge, that's one of the greatest problem solvers there is for the human mind, is because the subconscious mind is a huge, huge database of almost limitless knowledge and experience that you've had all your life. It is a huge problem solver, but for most people, you're not wired directly into the subconscious. So
Mhm.
basically, you have to put your conscious mind into sort of a state of neutral. Physical exercise, especially repetitive exercises, jogging, walking on a treadmill, rowing machines, those have a tendency to put the conscious mind or the higher functions of the mind in a state of neutral. This lets your mind wander, and the wandering mind will start computing, they'll start calculating, and it will come up with ideas and concepts you had no idea where they came from. It came from your subconscious mind.
I was just gonna ask you what are some ways that we can get there? So walking.
Yeah, repetitive exercise is a great way to help your mind, help calm your conscious mind and allow your subconscious mind to wander.
That makes so much
Like I
sense
said,
to me.
going down and sitting and watching the kids play is a great way. I do it, but not everybody will have that time. But a lot of people take the time to do exercise. So repetitive exercise is just going for a walk. You'd be surprised how many people tell me, yeah, I was out for a walk the other day and all of a sudden I thought this up. It's your subconscious mind working.
I can really relate to it because I can't tell you how many times I'll be coming home from the gym after being on the treadmill, on the rower, after lifting, and I have a call her Chatty G on my phone, and I'll just talk into it while I'm driving. I'll be like, "I've got an idea for my newsletter. This is what I want to talk about." And I just capture it while I'm driving and talking into the car's, microphone.
That's a great exercise. That's a great thing because a lot of people, and I hear this a lot too, and it happens to me as well, will wake up at night and say, "Wow, what was that?" But when they wake up in the morning, they forgot about it.
Forgot it.
So I know a lot of people who keep like tape recorders or little dictation machines by their bed so that they can speak into those things and keep those memories alive to help them create new ideas.
Yeah, voice recorder of whatever kind. And then he's like with having the voice recorded, whatever you use, Claude or whatever large language model people are using. I love talking into it and enabling that way of communicating with it because I'm like, listen, no answers right now. Chatty G, no answers. We're just got some ideas noted for the next newsletter, possibly, and I get it all out so I don't have to lose it. And then I can come back and start to really work with that. But a lot of that happens right after I've been like zoning out on the tread. Absolutely. That's interesting. What if, do you find that people feel or that you run into a lot of people who feel like, well, listen, I'm just not imaginative, Peter? And if so, how do you
Oh,
help
yeah.
them? Yeah.
In fact, the older people get,
The older we
the less
get,
imaginative they feel that they are. It's obviously because children, their whole world is that way. And I think part of this has to do with our education system, only because our education system is designed to create people who fit a category or an occupation,
mm,
as opposed to being creative. It's more technical, it's more mechanical. And unfortunately, that type of education does not bode well for creativity. So once people get out of school, especially out of college or graduate school, and get into their 9 to 5 lives or their careers, they try to somewhat developed into a rut. They're in their lane and they don't like to get out of their lane
mm.
because they're comfortable with it. And it takes a little while. That's one of the reasons why I perform as a magician, is because many times for most people, experiencing that wonder, that surprise, that how's that, for a split second, they reconnect with that part of their brain that believed in the impossible. And the more you connect with it, the more you can believe more into the impossible.
Let's say I'm a trainer, I'm a facilitator, and I need to get a group of people going who maybe they are more on the technical side. Maybe they aren't going to lean into it. Like, what are some things that I could maybe start to do that might lean more into a magic trick, if you will? Like, I'm trying to help
Well,
people. What might you suggest we do as we listen to the cool stuff that you get
certainly.
to do?
Yeah. This would be in an area where I do also, besides keynoting, I sometimes do workshops where we go in and we work with groups. We put together what I call collaborative teams, little collectives of, say, 4 or 5 or 6 people. And those people we try to turn into a cohesive unit. It's amazing how you're going through this. This is the fourth or the fifth principle that I talk about in my presentation, is collaboration or teamwork. It's a huge benefit to imagination because basically you turn one mind into six. So let's say you have a team of horses, and they're just wildly running around like in a stampede. Well, you harness them all up, put them behind a wagon, and they go in one direction, and it's amazing what they can get done. We do the same thing with the people. Now, the exercises that we do, first one I would say is basically introductions. All communication is storytelling. People don't realize that, but basically every book you've read, every movie or TV show you've watched, every song, every piece of art that you've seen is a form of storytelling, of communicating with one another. But not everybody's a great storyteller. I am not a good storyteller, which is why I do visual magic. What I basically do is I try to help people instigate conversations. So, in other words, take the word storytelling away and put in the word conversation. The way to start a conversation is an introduction. So, let's say you're 4 or 5 people that are in your little group. Maybe they're part of the same department, they know each other. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're in different departments. Maybe they're from different offices from around the country. They may or may not know each other. So the first order of business is to learn who they are. Tell them your name, where you're from. Give them a little piece of who you are. We're not talking about an episode of This Is Your Life, but just a little piece, a little window into who you are, because communication leads to connection. And connection is how you make a group of of performers into a cohesive unit. Yeah, they have to connect. So some of the exercises that we do are conversational, introductional. Others are great, would be like role playing, very similar to what team building exercises are. If you've ever been to one of those type of team building workshops, they have a lot of specific exercises for that. Some of them work very, very well to help people connect with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them about your favorite pet when you had growing up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when getting into conversational introductions and encouraging people to share something about themselves,
What's like a good prompt for that from your perspective? Yeah.
That's a good question because there are a lot of people who don't want to talk about themselves.
Mhm.
One of the ones that I always talk to them about is, did you have a pet growing up? What was its name? What was a dog, a cat, a bird, a snake, whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing how everyone else, or most everyone else in that group, also had a pet. I had a dog too. Its
Yeah.
name was Scruffy, or my dog's name was Princess. It's again, there you go. You're starting to connect.
It's a really good one. Immediately I think of people usually if they have a pet or if they have a friend even who has a pet that they loved. Your pets never have just one name. Mine was just here with me, actually. Her name is Luna, but she goes by Lunatic, Lunatuna, Yuna, Looney Toony. Like she has a long list of names that are way beyond her given name. And it's really joyful to hear people share about that stuff and to see how they light up and
Yes,
where they go with it. I love the prompt of the
yes.
pets. And even when people don't have pets, like what would you suggest? Like maybe you've got a group of people, they actually don't have pets, which is very, very unusual. But sometimes there's
Let's
people who
talk
don't have a
about
pet. Yeah.
talk about the best Christmas present you got growing up.
Yeah. Or any kind of gift, right?
Yeah.
Any
I
kind of
mean, most of us, when we were growing up, that Sears and Roebuck's wish book would come, and we would just pour over that thing, and it was just all the treasures inside. And you would see some of them on TV, the newest football helmet, the newest spy apparatus. I'm dating myself, but I grew up in the '60s when James Bond was huge, so they had a lot of
Yeah,
James Bond 007 style toys, and it was amazing.
it is
And you would
amazing.
just bug your parents to death all summer, all fall, just until that day came when you could open it up and tear off it, and there it was. And for the next 4 hours at least, you were just in heaven.
Yep.
That's another thing that most of us can have and share with each other to
Yeah.
help build connection.
You know what? For me, I'm going to date myself too, but heck, I'm 154. People already know. Cabbage Patch. And I remember I did not get one immediately, but I did eventually get one. And I still have him. It's Ralph Nigel, and he has a pacifier, and he's bald. I love him.
See, so there's a couple of items or a couple of subjects that you can use to help break the ice, to help start building connection with your group. Because once that group becomes cohesive in collaboration, now instead of having one mind, you have 5 minds, a hive mind.
Hmm.
And you see this all the time in nature with ant colonies,
Hmm.
beehives, Borg, sorry.
Resistance is
But
futile.
yeah, hive minds can create things that single minds wouldn't come up with as quickly.
Well, yeah,
And that's
especially
the
when
whole
you've
idea
got
of putting together these collaborations.
it's beautiful, especially when you have people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different languages, and they just see the world and have grown up in the world so differently. There's really nothing more beautiful when we come together and can better understand our different perspectives and different ways of moving through the world. You've
Yeah.
got
Uh, as different and as varied as our cultures are, we all share so much things in common.
as humans.
Family is one of the biggest ones. Childhood is another big one. And the need to connect. The
Yeah.
need to connect is pathological.
Mhm.
In fact, people who don't connect very well are not very well suited for society.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
It's hard for them.
unfortunate. That's an area that I don't talk about.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified.
Yeah. You have a lot of I know we talked about it before the show, before I pressed record, but you've got some props and some things around you. Is there anything
Yes,
that you'd like to share with us or show?
sure. I'd be glad to do a little bit of a quick demonstration. There's not a lot that we can do over the airwaves,
Yeah.
but there are some. I mean,
Yeah,
since
I'd love it.
COVID,
As we bring it kind of
most magical performers have learned how to perform through Zoom. So
that's right.
I'm going to try one here for
Okay.
you. I want you to help me with it. And again, what we're doing here is a demonstration to help you believe in the impossible. That's the key to all of this, is learning to believe the impossible. If nothing is impossible, you can accomplish anything. So what I'm going to use here is I have a small whiteboard here that you can see, and it has basically 16 numbers on it, 4 rows, 4 columns. In addition to this, I also have 4 colored markers. I have red, blue, green, and purple. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to basically choose one of those colors: red, blue, green, or purple. Which would you
Red.
like to choose? Red is the first one I'm going to use. Now, what I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to take this red marker and I'm going to draw a line through one of the 4 rows. Which row do you want me to do that to?
The first row.
The top row?
Yes.
That one? All right. So let me do that. I'm going to draw a line through that first row.
Got it.
Okay. So now, put the cat back on. Choose another color.
Blue.
We have blue. Okay, blue it is. Now with blue, I want to mark through another row. It doesn't have to be the next one. It can be any of them. Let me know which one you like.
The third one from the top.
The one that starts with 9?
Yes, please.
Very good. So blue through that third row. Now we have green and purple left. What color would you like?
Green.
Green it is.
I'm being
Now,
very
we have
decisive today.
the bottom or the second row?
Let's go to the bottom.
The bottom row. This is taking longer than it should, but I want to make sure that everything is very, very clear. So there we go. Green has gone through the bottom row, which leaves us with basically just the purple, and just by default, it goes through the second row. All right. Now, we're halfway there. What I'm going to do is now we're going to do the same thing with the columns, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So again, choose one of our 4 colors.
Let's go with purple again.
Purple again. And which column should we go through? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
4 it is. So purple goes down this way. So purple's done. Now we have 3 colors left: green, blue, and red.
Green.
Green it is. And green will go through which column? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3 it is. 3. Here we go like this. All right. Now red and blue are left.
Red.
Red it is. Column 1 or column 2?
1.
Column 1. And finally, we have, just by the elimination, the blue, which we will use through column 2. So what we have done now is we have created 16 levels with different colors on them. What I'm going to do now is we are going to highlight the intersection of each of those colors. So we have purple over here going down, and then purple's here to the number 8. Okay, so that number 8 is a number we're going to remember. Okay, then we have green here and green at the bottom, which goes through 15.
Okay.
So we have 8 and 15. Add those 2 together. What would that be?
Oh man, I did not know there would be math today.
Sorry.
15 plus 10 would be 25, so 23.
23. Okay, very good. Now we had blue over here and blue over here, which
10?
ends up on the 10.
Got it.
So we had 23 plus 10. That's
33.
33. And the last one was red. And red were on the very first one, which is 1. So what number is that?
34.
34. So we came up with a total of 34 based upon where you had me color the numbers in a completely random fashion. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Good.
The screen says 34, everyone. Wait a second. That's magical. I love these kind of tricks.
And now
immediately
for
your brain goes to, how did that happen? I got to figure it out.
I'm more involved in that first realization, that first moment of the lies lighting up. Everyone, and most people do, they after that goes away, they go, how does it do it? Well, this one particularly is just a mathematical anomaly. Basically, if you put those together and did it again, whatever 4 you came up with ends up 34. I shouldn't tell you that, but
you shouldn't reveal.
It's mathematical magic. If anybody did this at home and did it with different colors and different locations, the 4 totals that you come up with are always 34.
That's really, really cool. Well, for those of you that were just listening, we'll take a picture.
It was just an illustration.
We'll take a picture.
Basically, the whole purpose of the performances and the routines that I do are to reach that reaction, to come up with that reaction that people have for an instant where they can believe anything is possible.
It's beautiful. For anybody that was just listening and didn't watch the video, go watch the video so you can see what happened there. But we had a board with the different numbers and the lines, and then the magical thing about the number coming up, which is mathematical magic right there. But
mathematical magic,
yes. And I'll take some pictures so people can see it too. But Peter, thank you. That was just absolutely delightful and super fun to go through because it does really make you feel good. You're like, yay, I got it
Isn't
right.
it? It's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
People, the more people experience it, the more they like it and the
Yeah,
more they want more, which is what I want to try and do.
it's lovely.
Is when you live your life in full color, it is so much more exciting.
When you live your life in full color, it is so much more exciting. Peter Donello.
Thank you.
I love that. Okay, where can we get in touch with you and learn about more about where you're at, what you're headed, what you're doing, and all the things? What's the best
Certainly.
way?
I have a website known as the Imaginatist. That's real hard to spell. So guess what? www.peterdonello.com will take you right to it.
Oh, that's much easier to spell. You're right.
It
We'll be
is
sure to
much
put
easier to
that
remember. Yes. I
into the
also
show notes.
I'm on Facebook as the Imaginatist. I'm on YouTube as the Imaginatist. On YouTube, you'll see several performances or illustrations where I use magic to talk about team building, to talk about time management, to talk about the different styles of people and how to cooperate and learn to blend together.
I love it. It's
And
so good.
that's on my YouTube channel, which is again the Imaginatist.
Excellent. Well, we'll be sure to put those links in the show notes so people can go check it out. And we want to thank you for spending time with us today and showing us how to be more imaginative in such a creative and delightful way, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It was my pleasure too.
That's your spark. Now go light something up. And hey, if this episode lit you up, share it with a friend, a fellow facilitator, or someone who needs a little more connection in their day. Be sure to follow the Spark Connect so you don't miss what's next. We've got more brilliant voices, bold ideas, and heart-forward conversations coming your way. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and keep showing up.